Hey guys, Max92 and welcome back to another tryout. Today's tryout is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles double feature. So I'm a bit of what I'd say is a casual Ninja Turtles fan. I've not really read much of the comics, but I did grow up on the live-action movies and the 2003 TV series. There's a lot of that in my childhood. I often claim that the original 1990 live-action Ninja Turtles movie is my favorite movie when asked. So it's like something that I enjoy a lot. I even have DVDs of them somewhere. They just, I don't think, are here. Otherwise, they'd be on the table. I've read the first issue, came with this book of Ninja Turtles, but my knowledge is largely in the movies and 2003 series. So I don't have a lot of experience with the 80s cartoon, really. And I don't have a lot of experience with any of the cartoons that came after that. I've watched a little bit of the 3D animated one, but either way, today I'm here because I want to talk about these two games. They came out around the same time. One is the Cowabunga Collection, which is a collection of classic Ninja Turtles games published by Konami. Some of them developed by Konami. I don't know the exact details. And the other being this new beat-em-up called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. They, like I said, came out around the same time, within a year or so of each other. And I feel like it's good to talk about them together, in a sense.
Bossa Nova!
What? Yeah? Bossa Nova?
Chevy Nova?
First up, let's talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection. This is an actually really good collection. I know that I have the Castlevania collection also published by Konami, and that's also a pretty decent collection, so maybe that's just the Konami collections are a good quality, but this has a lot of stuff in it. Many, many games, which I'll get to listing them in a moment, but it's also got a lot of art. I wish that there were maybe just full comics in there, because it does have covers of basically, as far as I can know, every Ninja Turtles comic. It has main covers, variant covers, everything. Kind of wild. And then it also has a lot of box shots and manuals, TV ads, all sorts of stuff to go through and look at for just someone who's interested in the history or was a fan or maybe was there at the time and read some of these things. Those are potentially a really good trip down memory lane, but it's also got stills from all the 4 animated shows and a whole bunch of stuff. There's a lot of stuff packed in here for extras. In addition to that, it's got so many games. We'll go through by console. For NES games, it's got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 through 3, 2 being the adaptation of the arcade game for the NES. For the Game Boy, it has Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 through 3, which are their own separate games from the NES ones. It's got the first arcade game and Turtles in Time for arcade. It's got Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. It's got Hyperstone Heist for the Genesis, which I believe is just the Genesis's version of Turtles in Time to some extent. It seems like it's decently different, but it's also got a lot of the same bits as well. And then it also has Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters, which is a fighting game, and it has that for NES, Super Nintendo, and Genesis. No arcade version, there maybe wasn't one, I'm not familiar with that game. And all of those games are available in both English and in Japanese. So there's a lot there for games and for extras. It's a really good amount of stuff for a product like this. While the NES and Game Boy games don't really age as well, I think that the Super Nintendo and arcade games and the Genesis titles all age relatively well for, just in general, those libraries tend to hold up a lot better. But I think here they also are just yeah, you could go back and play these and it doesn't feel like you're playing something that's archaic.
God, I love being a turtle!
Another thing that's often missing from collections like these that isn't really missing here are extra options and modes for since these are emulated, just playing them in a better form or an improved form or whatever. There's a lot of that stuff there. You've got different things for different screen filters. You've got different color palettes for the Game Boy games. Well, it's mostly just Game Boy Color or Light, Pocket, and Original. You've also got a variety of options that will fix issues that maybe the NES games would have had on original hardware that are there in the original emulated versions, but you can turn off in settings for a better experience. And it's also got a rewind functionality and a save slot. I think just one per game though. And there's also lots of ways to make the games easier by giving yourself extra lives and God mode and all that sort of stuff and some of the other options. There's a lot of ways to tune your way to play these you know, in a way that you would maybe do if you were playing on an emulator anyway. The only caveat I'd say here is that you might want to buy it with someone, with like a friend, because it didn't really come across anyone just trying to matchmake online just to see if there's anyone on for this. So you might want to buy it with a friend to play through some of these, because these are games that are, you know, largely intended to be played with someone or with a couple someones. Some of them are 2-player, some of them are 4-player, some of them are just single-player, but like I'd say probably buy with someone. And a feature that I actually forgot to mention is that there's a feature in this where you can tell it to play the game so that you can watch the game. And so it basically just loads up like a recorded playthrough, but it's recorded in emulator. So like at any point you can jump in and start playing, picking up right from where the recording left off. Or, you know, maybe you just wanted to watch the recording for some tips and tricks on how to beat bosses or whatever. It's a really interesting feature that I've not seen in anything before. So maybe it has been in some other things, but that's it's new to me, which is really cool. My overall opinion on this package here is that it's a really good package, and I'd say that I played a little bit of every game. I mostly just played through until I ran out of lives, which I'm not very good at beat-em-ups, so a lot of them I just ran out of lives very, you know, within like 15-20 minutes or so. Made it through a couple levels. So I played through it. I think it was playing for like 2 or 3 hours. It took me to play a little bit of every game. So based on that and seeing all the features, I'd say that this passes its tryout. It's a really good collection, and if you're a fan of beat 'em ups or Ninja Turtles, I'd say pick it up.
Pizza dude's got 30 seconds.
So next up, let's talk about the newer game of these two, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This is a game that was developed by Tribute Games, I think, maybe, and that's a dev company that's made up of ex-Ubisoft devs, some of which supposedly worked on Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, according to what I read on the Wikipedia page. I have that. I did a video on that a while back, so click the card. They'll take you to that if you're interested in my opinions on that one. And then it was published by Dotemu, who did the, who developed the Streets of Rage 4 game, which I also did a video on, another card, so click on that if you want to hear me talk about that one. I played this game for a little over an hour. I beat 7 of the levels. I don't know exactly how many there are, but I got through 7 of them. I feel like I'm maybe halfway-ish through the game, but I'm not 100% on that. And honestly, so far from what I played, this might be my favorite beat 'em up that I've played on the channel. Combat flows really well, especially for a combat system that only uses one attack button. It's just, you know, it doesn't feel like I'm misinputting or pressing like things wrong. It just works and just flows together really well. There's a lot of extra stuff to do that gives you points, that levels up your character, that gives them more moves and, you know, better health and all that stuff. And I believe also there are some unlockable characters. I'm not 100% on that. I will put text on screen if that's true, if I get around to that during editing. And those points that I mentioned before that unlock things, that's a really interesting progression system that happens for each character. So each character you can earn these points with, and that levels them up. And that's a really interesting progression system for this type of game to have. I believe the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World game had a similar progression system to it as well. Overall, I think I'm just excited for that DLC that was announced to come out. I believe they said it was this year. I'd have to, you can put the thing on screen. It's probably already on screen. I'm excited for that, to see what they do with some new levels and Usagi Yojimbo and all that. And overall, definitely say this one passes tryout. It's one that, if you're a fan of beat 'em ups, fan of Ninja Turtles, pick that one up as well. Both these games are great titles to pick up if you are fans of those two things, Ninja Turtles and or beat 'em ups. I'd say pick these both up if you have the chance.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Man, I love being a turtle.
That's, I think, all I gotta say about these two games, so let's get to the end bits here. If you go in the description, you find a beacons.ai link that will take you to all of my places like Patreon, Bandcamp, Redbubble, etc. Click that link, go to those places, do what you do there. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't. Subscribe if you want to keep up with this and other shows. I'm always working on other things. This is the most consistent stuff that I make right now, so this will come out weekly. but other stuff periodically, probably. Subscribe, I already said that. Leave a comment. What's your favorite Ninja Turtles game? What's your favorite Ninja Turtles piece of media? Leave a comment, tell me down there. Share the video, do the things, And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Nice to meet you, now I'm here to beat you with full force. Mess up your facial features. Hasta la vista, I'm selling all y'all little Caesars. All y'all stuff your face with is pizza. Pizza crack like a hard-boiled egg on Easter. See these muscles on me? I could beat your teacher. I defeat Leonardo, y'all become the weakest. I take off all of your masks and dismantle your